The galactic nursery station orbited the peaceful moon of Viridian 7, a neutral zone where diplomats from across the galaxy brought their offspring while conducting interspecies negotiations. It was meant to be a place of cultural exchange and learning, but tonight it had become a battlefield of wills. Jacqueline stood in the doorway of sleeping chamber 7B, her arms crossed as she observed the small Vrathari cub named Zixtal refusing to settle into his sleep pod. The little creature, covered in soft purple fur with luminescent spots that pulsed with his emotional state, sat upright with his forearms folded defiantly across his chest. "Absolutely not," Zixtal declared in his species-clicking language, which Jacqueline's translator earpiece converted to standard English. "Not until checked." Sean, her co-worker and fellow human caretaker, appeared behind her with 2 cups of recycled station coffee. "Still going?" he whispered. 47 minutes now," Jacqueline replied, taking the offered cup gratefully. "He won't explain what needs to be checked." This wasn't unusual behavior for the young Vrathari. The species was known for their cautious nature and elaborate pre-sleep rituals. But the other caretakers, a Thessian with crystalline skin and a massive Gordoth who had to duck through every doorway, had already tried everything in the station's xenopsychology manual. Nothing worked. "Maybe it's a human thing?" Sean suggested. "The kid's been watching Earth documentaries all week." Jacqueline raised an eyebrow. That was interesting. She stepped into the chamber, and immediately Zixtal's spots brightened with hope. "Zixtal," she said gently, kneeling beside his sleep pod. "What needs to be checked, little one?" The cub's spots flickered orange with anxiety. "Under," he said, pointing one small clawed hand at the space beneath his pod. "Monsters. Human Jacqueline must check. Only humans know." Understanding dawned on Jacqueline's face, followed by a smile that made Sean chuckle from the doorway. Of course. The documentaries about Earth hadn't just shown the planet's geography and culture. They'd shown Earth's stories, including the childhood fears that were uniquely human. "I see," Jacqueline said seriously, matching the cub's solemn tone. "You want me to check under your bed for monsters?" "Yes." Zixtal's spots turned bright blue with relief that someone finally understood. "Earth Young always check. Parents check. Keeps monsters away. Very important human safety protocol." Behind her, Sean was trying very hard not to laugh. The idea that checking under beds for monsters was a serious human safety measure was both adorable and absurd. But Jacqueline understood something the other caretakers didn't. Sometimes fear didn't need logic. It needed ritual. "You're absolutely right, Zixtal," Jacqueline said, standing up with exaggerated seriousness. "This is a very important protocol. Sean, I'll need your assistance." "Copy that," Sean said, playing along as he entered the room. "Beginning standard human monster elimination protocol, HMEP 1. Jacqueline crouched down, making a show of examining the space beneath the sleep pod with her flashlight. She moved slowly, checking every corner, even pulling out her multi-tool and pretending to scan for readings. She said thoughtfully. "Sean, I'm detecting some unusual readings here. Can you verify?" Sean knelt beside her, pulling out his own scanner. "Confirmed. Definitely monster-grade energy signatures, but they're old. I'd say approximately 3 million years old." Zixtal leaned over the edge of his pod, his spots flickering between orange and purple with fascination and fear. "That old?" "Oh, yes," Jacqueline said, standing up and dusting off her knees. "See, here's the thing about monsters, Zixtal. They're very, very old, and they're also very scared of humans." "Scared? Of humans?" The cub's spots turned yellow with confusion. "But humans are small, squishy, no armor or venom or quantum shielding." Sean grinned. "That's exactly why monsters are afraid of us. You see, monsters have been around for millions of years, living under beds and in closets across the galaxy. They've seen every species. Vrathari, Thessians, Gordoth, all of them. And every species either ran away screaming or tried to fight them. But not humans, Zixtal asked, completely engrossed now. But not humans, Jacqueline confirmed. When human children find monsters, you know what we do? We check, we look right at them. We turn on lights, we investigate, we make sure. And that terrifies monsters because they rely on fear. When you're not afraid, when you face them directly, they have no power. She pointed to the space under the bed. So when I checked just now, any monster that might have been there took one look at me, a human, and ran away so fast it left those old energy signatures behind. Zixtal's spots slowly shifted to a calm green. So, is safe now? Completely safe, Sean assured him. That's the thing about the human monster elimination protocol. Once we check, once we verify the space is clear, our presence leaves a protective marker. Monsters won't come back to a space that's been checked by a human. Because we're not afraid to look, Jacqueline added softly. And that's the most powerful weapon against any monster, being brave enough to check, to face it, to not let fear control you. The young Vrathari considered this with the seriousness only a child could muster when confronting their deepest fears. Finally, his spots settled into a steady, peaceful blue. He lay down in his sleep pod, pulling his thermal blanket up to his chin with all 4 arms. Thank you, human Jacqueline and human Sean, he said quietly. Will you teach me to not be afraid? To check like humans do? Jacqueline reached out and gently patted one of his small paws. You just did, little one. You asked for help. You faced your fear. That's the first step. And tomorrow, Sean added, if you want, we can show you how to check under your own bed. How to be brave like humans. Zixtal's spots pulsed with contentment as his eyes began to close. Yes, want to learn human bravery. Want to face monsters. As the 2 humans quietly exited the chamber, dimming the lights to the soft glow Vrathari preferred for sleep, Sean shook his head in amazement. You know the whole galaxy is going to hear about this, right? How humans have an official monster elimination protocol? Jacqueline smiled. Let them. Maybe more species will learn that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit you're scared and ask someone to help you check under the bed. Humanity, fuck yeah, Sean offered with a grin. Humanity, fuck yeah, Jacqueline agreed, even when it's just checking for imaginary monsters. But as they walked down the corridor toward the observation deck, both of them understood the truth. The monsters might have been imaginary, but the courage to face them was very, very real. And sometimes, that's all anyone, human or alien, really needed.